Hey, my name's Candace. I'm going to be doing the new moon in Scorpio video for you guys, or reading for you guys. And how I decided to do it is I'm going to split it up by signs. I was thinking I was going to do the water signs first, just because, it is kind of Scorpio season. So, I decided to do a poll on it, and water signs still came out first. So the water signs will be first, air will be second, fire signs will be third, and earth signs will be last. However, I don't know how much it's going to matter because they may all be posted at the same time. I'm not sure. But if they're not, that's how it's going to go. I'm just going to look off a list just to get some things out of the way before I start the reading. I hope everybody is enjoying November. The full moon just passed, which is in Taurus. I very much enjoyed that full moon because I am a Taurus sun, Gemini moon, and I have Leo rising, and my Venus is in Pisces. So it was very like home to me. It was weird because I actually had like a revelation because I've been going through a lot myself. I'm in the middle of going through a spiritual awakening, so I've been feeling all these other energies, all these changes, not really like myself in a long time. And I was just commenting how kind of at peace and how calmed I was, and it was like for the first time I had felt like myself in a long time again. And it was nice to feel because, it's one of those times, it's kind of like an aha moment, but you think it's kind of like what I call like a duh thing, like you should be like, to take it for granted, you should know that. But sometimes you forget the most simple things in life. And I realized with it how long it had been since I felt my own energy, just because of how much I've been going through and how many changes and evolving and challenges and all the other energies from the other moons. How much I really love my own energy, and how much I took it for granted for years, and always looked outside of myself to feel at home and complete. And it was kind of that moment where I realized like it was in me all along. So although I do appreciate the other moons and the other energies that really help me, they're helping me evolve and change and kind of not be so stagnant and so just focused in a not good way. But at the same time, bringing it back around really has just kind of reconfirmed to me how much going within kind of brings you everything that people are looking for anyways, or the things people are looking for. It's within yourself. It's actually your own energy. It's just people take it for granted. And I don't know, I just wanted to say that. So keep in mind the energies that come around, because it was something I really didn't think of until I was actually enjoying my own energy. I didn't realize how much I didn't feel like myself for a while until it came back around, and I'm like, oh, this is familiar. This is nice. So I just wanted to say that. So the full moon was in Taurus, which is about releasing. So it makes room for energies in your life also, so that energies can come in with the new moon for planting seeds and manifestations, and just where your energy is going to go, because it's all about a journey. It's all about what you're going to do, what you're going to do next, and the moons help you with that. And it's hard sometimes to manifest or bring new things in when you have a bunch of things that you need to let go of and they're really not working for you. So I'm not really going to get too much into the Taurus full moon, but I know for me at least, it really, I think, helped ground me for what's possibly gonna come for the Scorpio new moon. They're both intense signs. They are opposite signs. So they have a lot of likes, but they have a lot of differences that can balance each other, especially if the signs are involved. So people might have gone through where they've released things, maybe even jobs, possessions, things the Taurus are about, mostly that groundedness, maybe even stubbornness. But for me personally, it worked out to where I think it gave me like a groundedness and a balance and a peace and an intense one I haven't felt in a long time, and was much needed. I'm not sure if it's like the calm before the storm. We'll see. But for me, I think that's the way it was. It was a nice, calming, grounding energy, and I have a feeling that it's much needed for the Scorpio new moon that's coming. So let's talk about Scorpio and what they represent. There's a lot to it, but we'll cover a lot of your more general things. Scorpios are very mysterious. They're all about death and rebirth, release, regeneration, the phoenix rising from the ashes. They're all about truth, not only finding the truth, but telling the truth, sort of, because they're also very mysterious and secretive at the same time. So, especially the unevolved Scorpios, they'll hold even more truth back, but they're all very truthful in some way. They will tell some truth. They almost always will tell a truth that is, in others or in the world around them. And I'll kind of get more on that, especially with how they mirror and reflect. There's just no way you're not going to find some truth being around a Scorpio. But they usually always pretty much uphold their truths as well, at least to what they know their truths are at the time. They're pretty good about looking within, so they usually know themselves pretty well. They're very patient in the sense that they observe and plan. They're not always patient in like getting what they want, and that might be an unevolved trait, but they are very patient in observing and planning their moves and just watching. They're very observant. They're very much about the higher consciousness, spiritual awareness, especially the evolved Scorpios. They a lot of times have increased intuitive abilities and psychic abilities, especially intuitive abilities. They're very good about listening to themselves and going within, and obviously that ranges, and it all depends on the scale of how evolved they are. They're the ones who have the most, I don't even know the right way to put it, but the most animals. Like Taurus is a bull, Cancer's a crab, Pisces is a fish. Scorpio has, like, depending on which one you look at, like between like 4 to 7, because they're so in depth and so complex that their evolution has multiple animals. With, I think some people say the eagle is the last one, but I've seen others where the phoenix is the final one. Regardless, though, they're very much about intensity. And I think that's why it was really nice to have the intense side of the Taurus and the grounding, because, everything in the zodiac sign is about balance. So if we're having some intense energies coming our way on a Scorpio side, it's kind of nice to have had that balanced Taurus grounding side, because they're both about intensity. So whatever's come is probably going to be, or comes is going to be intense. It's going to be probably emotions, usually deep emotions. Scorpio is, all the water signs are emotional, but most of the other two like Cancer and Cancer and Pisces, I find are a little bit more like fluid. It's almost like a stepping. I think Pisces is the most fluid, Cancer is the middle, and Scorpio is the least. Theirs is almost like that still waters run deep, that murky water, that unknown below all that water. that dark murkiness that most people are scared of. Most people are scared to look at. Scorpios aren't. That's for the most part what they live in, is that darkness, the mystery, and they love it. And I think it's almost the opposite of a lot of other signs in that way, that the evolved Scorpios, that's one of their things, is to still love their darkness and love that dark water, but to also rise to the light and use the light, and learn how to balance that. Where a lot of signs, and I'm not saying they're dark, but a lot of signs are about embracing their dark side, and combining them. I think Scorpio, most of them, at least the more unevolved ones, are the ones still evolving. I mean, we're all always evolving, but the ones who haven't blended the light and the dark already, theirs is kind of opposite, in the sense of theirs is actually to rise and embrace the light. I know a lot of Scorpios that they kind of really have that thing. Like, they love that mischievous kind of dark thing, and almost like they don't feel like themselves, that they're dealing with the light or something with the light. Not that they're not good people, but just to use their regenerative and healing properties in better ways, especially if they are on a lower scale, because then they can tend to use it for not so great. I mean, still good, because I've had things done to me that, you know, back when, before my awakening, I mean, tore me apart. And now I look back on it and I realize how much of a great thing it was. So although that's great, and it's a great almost sacrifice in a way, to be the one to almost bring people through the dark so they can find the light again in a new perspective. Eventually their thing, Scorpios also, is they have to rise out of the darkness as well. But usually they do kind of help others intentionally or unintentionally through the dark before, you know, they rise to the light too. And I'm fully grateful for that. They will, there's no way you can't know who you are, your triggers, or they mirror you so much. So I'll get into that. But your sexuality maybe increase, the intensity of that. It might be something you embrace. It might be something that you have almost an addiction with, or a problem with, or maybe you have old subconscious thoughts that you need to address with that. But either way, that intensity that comes in that creation, that fire. I mean, even though they are a water sign, Scorpios very much represent and embellish that fire-esque as well. Money might be also something that's in with this. Normally Scorpios are about kind of other, I don't know what the right way to say this, but other people's money, outside money. Taurus is usually about their own and manifesting it themselves. Scorpio can obviously do that. We can pull off each other's traits. And they usually do end up, especially as they evolve, because usually when you evolve, you kind of balance with your opposite sign, so they naturally would start to manifest. But there would be like bonuses, inheritances, sharing money, loaning money, collaborations with business and money. But I think a lot of manifesting as well. They're gonna pull off that Taurus energy. It just kind of depends on what's going on in their life and what stage they're at in their evolution or evolving spirituality. So what you'll probably see is a lot of death, in a sense of removing of things that no longer work, but also rebirth. And that can be your health, looking into yourself about what needs to be looked at, what needs to be worked on, where can something be made better, what can I kind of rejuvenate again, maybe health practices, working out, eating better, meditation, really anything with your health can either come to light and be transformed, or work on transforming again. Material things, material possessions, it doesn't even matter what it is. I mean, you can like fix up things in your house, change your house around, change your room around, really anything. Your clothes, your wardrobe, you know, your shoes, whatever your thing is. Creative projects, maybe there was something you started on that you stopped or got sidetracked from, and you're like, oh yeah, why did I stop that? Let me start that again. That'll be good for me. Or something that you're doing and you're like, you know what, this really isn't going the way I thought. Let me stop it. I'm going to start something else. There's going to be truths revealed, whether it's from, you know, things that you're revealing or things that you're hearing with others. Truth within yourself through self-reflection. I mean, I think that's the biggest part of this that's going to happen is self-reflection, because Scorpios are very big on self-reflection. Maybe even truths, you know, in the environment and social media and politics and all that I'm not even going to get into, not in this video anyways. But looking inside yourself, embracing your shadow side, understanding yourself, and not being scared of that, not being scared of the darkness, the things that are scary, that, you know, just seeing them and acknowledging them and loving them, you know, and, you know, utilizing some as strength, and then releasing others that don't work for you and seeing old patterns. What areas of you need healing, whether it's emotional, physical. Look at the relationships, not only within yourself, but around you. Because everything in our environment mirrors things that are going on within us. So you can't really have always that victim mentality of, you know, oh, so-and-so is doing this, oh, so-and-so is this, or, oh, they're ignoring me, or they're not nice to me. Well, how are you ignoring yourself? How are you not being nice, or, you know, nice to yourself? If they're not listening to you, are you not listening to yourself? It always mirrors that within you. And just because of the way Scorpios are, to me, from what I found, they are one of the best mirrors. And for somebody who's not ready to do reflection and look within and kind of take the responsibility of it, they are going to offend you. You are going to misunderstand them a lot of times. But you have to look deeper than that, not only within them, which is sometimes hard to do, but within yourself. Okay, stop. And sometimes too, I mean, I don't know if a lot of Scorpios will like that, because a lot of them like to be like mysterious. Although they want to be understood, they don't want to be understood, because they like kind of being mysterious. But a lot of times, whether it's Scorpios or anybody, the best way to understand somebody else, honestly, from what I found, is to understand yourself. Like, if you understand yourself, somehow you understand so many things around you. You understand so many people around you. It's just weird how that happens. Like, the more you let go of control, the more control you have. The more you trust yourself, the more you trust other people. It's just one of those things that happens and is ironic with the universe. But look at how you react to things. What are your roles in relationships? What triggers you? Why does it trigger you? Why is that person triggering you? Because only you can give something significance. Like, if somebody told me I was a bad cook, I'm not going to care, because I know I'm a good cook, so you're not going to faze me. But they might say something else to me that would really bother me. In the past, I mean, I used to be a very reactive person, and I lose control that way. And I realized, because it was things of my insecurity, and I'm like, oh, look at them, look at what they're doing. Oh, so-and-so did this to me and they were a horrible person. Yeah, but I was there and I participated, and I clearly got something from it because I stayed there. So it's all about looking within yourself, seeing what your role is in things. Where can things be healed? Where can things be let go? Where can things be revived? What can be made better? You know, what are those dark sides in you? Because through a lot of my shadow work that I've done, it's just brought so many amazing things. I wish I had done it a lot sooner. I mean, in a way, I'm glad I didn't, because now I'm able to be here with the stuff I know now. but at the same time, I mean, it's such a blessing, and it's intense, but it's a great energy. All right. Okay. We're going to get started on doing the Scorpio new moon for the fire signs for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I'm going to try my best on doing this. I should be okay. My energy is just kind of a little bit lower right now, and last night I just didn't have a good night. I got sick throughout the night. But I really wanted to get, I have this, and then I have the earth signs left, and I really want to get them done by this weekend or before this weekend. So I'm really pushing myself forth. But I pretty sure I'll be all right. But just to let you know, in case I'm a little bit more down than my other videos or something, that may be why, but it probably won't be a problem. So we're going to start off first by pulling 2 cards from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle cards, just to kind of see, either they might both be guidance cards. One might be the initial energy, and the second one might be what to take on, or hopefully to evolve to, using the Scorpio new moon energy. And I'm just going to do 2 of those as an overall for the fire signs. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'll pull an oracle card for each sign. I did pull an extra card for you guys, though, because as I was cutting the oracle cards, just preparing them for the reading, one of them, just when I looked at it, was like, you know, it really wanted to come out. It was really kind of speaking. So I took it out. And what that card is 2 little witches, magical space clearing time. So we'll kind of get more into this into the reading, but basically I think for all the signs there seems to be this similarity of, I mean, really everybody's kind of embracing like the world energy. There's cycles that should be completing in some form or another, whether it's financially, creatively, love-wise, relationships, however it fits into your life. But I think it's a good time to basically clear out anything that doesn't serve you, whether it's relationships, even in your house, moving furniture around, getting rid of furniture, getting rid of old clothes, old material possessions, relationships. Just really anything that's not working for you, because there's new energies also trying to come in to help kind of direct us in our path in something that will be better for us and more aligned. And it's really kind of sometimes hard to do that when we're keeping on to old stagnant energies or possessions or anything like that. Plus, sometimes it's kind of interesting when you do move things around and get rid of things, because you find things that didn't know they were there, that are either harboring energies, could give you kind of a clue into something that was, oh, I forgot about this. Like, I should pick this back up, which, you know, is kind of reminiscent of like the Scorpio energy, deaths and rebirths, or reviving things, or just completely being done with things. But interesting things can happen with that. But at the very least, the good thing is that it kind of gets rid of older stagnant energies that really are just hindering you and not helping you anymore. So, and that could be anything. I mean, it could be something physical. It could be just a job, anything you're wanting to manifest or do, old patterns, negative thoughts, anything that's just not serving you. And I think, you know, we're going to find a lot more of that too, because there's a whole lot more going along with the Scorpio energy of looking at your shadow side. So it's not only going to be around you as far as clearing things out, but it's also going to be internal work as well, shadow work, if you will. All right, so let's start with the Animal Oracle cards. It's pre-shuffled and ready to go. We're going to look for 2 cards for fire signs, the Scorpio New Moon 2017. Wow. All right, one more card. The fire signs for the Scorpio new moon 2017. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I got 3 cards. I have to say this. I'm going to be a little bit freaked out if this Phoenix card comes up. Oh, no, wait. Okay. Still, it's a little ironic because the other 2 signs, the water signs and the air signs both got, I think it was the eagle. It was either the eagle or the phoenix. But I think it was the eagle. And you guys actually got the phoenix. So either way, because depending on, Scorpio has, depending on which information site you look at, anywhere from 4 to 7 signs of like the animals or the symbols that represent them. Like, like Taurus would be the bull, Capricorn is the devil, I think Aries is the ram, Leo's the lion. But you get what I'm saying. Scorpio, like the scorpion is actually like one of the lower. They actually have like 4 to 7, depending on which one you look at, because their evolution is so complex and how many times they have like death and rebirths and rise from the ashes. So depending on whichever one you look at, I think some have the eagle as the end state and some have the phoenix. So either way, so far, 3 of the signs I have gotten as the end, which this actually came out first, but I think it's going to be the end thing, came out either as the eagle or the phoenix. And it's just kind of crazy. Like, I'm really interested to see what is going to come out for the earth sign. So the other 2 you have is the oyster, and you have the tiger, which is highly intuitive, which also matches for the Scorpio energy. And then, like I said, you have the phoenix. So I'm going to read them just because I really like the words in the book. And then if there's anything intuitive, I'll pull off. I'll say that as well. Okay. So the oyster is patient, secret keeper, hiding the inner treasures. That's very Scorpion-like. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is, oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires and life's work. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. I think this is for everybody, but this really, from what it seems, applies to Leo as well. When in balance, the oyster energy feels blessed, generous, and masterful. When out of balance, oyster energy is reluctant, gripping, and clams up. To bring into balance, share something. But it's very Scorpionic. Tiger. Tiger is lunar force, like the new moon. Ease and darkness, Scorpio. Feminine energy, Scorpio is a feminine, it's like a negative, receptive energy. The tiger hunts at night, in the darkness, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. When in balance, tiger energy is passionate, strong, and sensual. When out of balance, tiger energy is overstimulated. To bring into balance, tiger energy, Trataka, Trataka, Traka, I don't know, candle gazing. I think it probably really helps focus you and see like the light through the darkness probably. All right, let's look up Phoenix. The Phoenix is actually a spiritual one. Freedom from suffering and past karma. Reincarnation. The Phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. The Phoenix employs an advanced technique describing in yoga as the burning of impurities through practice and dedication. Tapas? Tapas? The essence of the Phoenix is with us when we realize we have been suffering too long and something must change. We take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversions. At that very moment, the spark of the Phoenix is lit, and the great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. The stuckness and dead weight fall into the ashes, and a lightness and clarity emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smolder, the Phoenix lifts our spirits up, and we begin to recognize ourselves again. We may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. Look closely. It's a sign the fire of transformation is upon your wings. I think it's also associated to the first chakra. So I'll read this part too. The ancient yogis believed that our heaviest karmas reside in the first chakra. This earthen energy is also called Muladhara, or our root chakra. The ascent of the Phoenix begins here as the entanglement of karmas is slowly burned. It rises from the ash towards the navel center. Again and again, it makes this journey from first to third chakra, purifying our essence, freeing us from the past. Hold on a second. I have to say, I had kind of an unexpected thing happen when I was doing yoga one time recently, and I was it was at the end of the video and I was tired by that point. So I was like just laying there watching it, and I think she was doing one where like you do like a backwards like bridge. And so I wanted to at least do that part, so I was like just laying on my back and had, my legs up and just pushed up with my feet so that, my torso and my butt were lifted in the air. Like here's my feet, and then here's my torso, and then my head and shoulders were on the ground. I hope that looks right to you. I don't know. But when I pushed up, because I used my legs and my pelvis, I felt this feeling come from in my pelvis, and it rose to my chest, like my chest and my kind of heart area. And I instantly knew like it was a different feeling. It was heavy, and it was like dark, like, and it was negative. And it really, to be honest, just made me want to like stay balled up, like almost like in a fetal position for a second. Like I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was going on. It was a weird sensation. I had kind of had an idea just because I felt it actually rise from my pelvis and my root chakra. And I almost didn't know how to release it. Like I even wanted to force myself to cry just to like get it out. And at first I couldn't, but I really had to sit there and focus on, think about it. Because at first it was repressed. So it wasn't allow me to really hone in on what the memory was. It was a repressed memory, but I could feel the feeling. And I still know I don't have all of it up now, but I was able to release a lot of it. But it was a lot of stuff from my past and angers. And there was a part of me that I saw as I finally was able to really focus on it and have it almost rise from like here. The only way I can describe it is almost rise from my chest into my mind, so then I almost can mentally process it and remember and see what it was. And it was something from my past, and there was this anger. I mean, just straight up anger, and this almost I don't want to say entity inside me, but this part of me. We have different parts of ourselves, and some of them we've never seen or haven't seen in years. And I saw her you know, and it was me, and she was very, very mad. Her eyes almost were like fiery, almost like that movie, like, I think it's Moana, the Hawaiian one, where there was, you know, the Earth Queen or whatever, who had her heart taken out, and she was very fiery, almost looked like devilish. And they thought she was like some devil or evil entity, but it was actually like the Earth goddess, I think Gaia maybe, with her heart taken out. But anyways, her face or her eyes is very similar, like, to what mine looked like when I saw it. And it was just crazy because I saw in my mind almost, you know, part of what I was angry about, and she was kind of going off on the person. But that was only for a second. Like, most of it, like, that's when I saw her, is when she turned to me. And I didn't realize until I was talking about it with someone that I was like, wow, most of that anger was actually towards me, like towards myself, like towards what I allowed and what I did and what situations I put myself in, not valuing myself, all of that stuff. Like, but she, oh, my cat is crazy. She was really angry at me. So I had to do a lot of like meditation and talk to her and go back to that. And I still have more to do. But my point in saying that is that this, when it was being read, is, it is crazy how much is harbored down in there in your root chakra, as far as like security. And I never considered myself to be an angry or rageful person. I'm a Taurus sun and a Gemini moon, a Leo rising. Hey, my Venus is in Pisces, and I do have Jupiter in Scorpio, but I never really considered myself to be an angry person or anything like that. And I thought I had gotten over a lot of stuff, but man, the stuff that came up, I was like, wow. So there may be a lot that you don't even know is under there. So there may be some stuff coming up or purging, or you might have some work to do, and this is a great time to do it. That's my point. I'm gonna move on. Hey, knock it off. So this might be a great time to do it for the Scorpio new moon. I just wanted to share that. So don't be surprised if you ever start doing yoga or something and something comes up and you don't know what it is, and 1 minute you're feeling great and the next minute you're like, whoa, what is that? Okay. So we're gonna start with Aries. You have, as your, asked for one card and I got two for you. I have it's the Five of Wands, but it's obstacles and challenges, and the Nine of Cups, fulfillment of wishes for you. So I'm kind of getting this feeling that let me back up for a second. I don't think there's much to add on with these cards because I think it pretty much covered all of it. I mean, if you look at the oyster, I mean, it's holding some type of gem inside, and there's all these colors outside, which is something like creative. You might even, like I was saying, because it's all different colors, kind of like your chakras, maybe you might want to look at your chakras and work on balancing them and looking within, opening them up, because it'll open up things inside that you didn't know was in there, that it's basically like gems. But also, you know, because Scorpio kind of does have that sometimes, especially the really lower energies, but sometimes when there's a lot going on, they can really become fearful or shut down or isolate themselves. So don't do that, because it's a shame what will be left inside that could be something great into the world. Then you have the Tiger, very psychic. So you might actually notice an increase in like intuition and psychic abilities this month. Things that you just know, things that you see, truths coming out, truths that are either told, truths that you're telling, or truths that you just somehow know, or just in your gut and your intuition. The Tiger is also black and white. So you might be having some things that are going to balance, your light and your dark, venturing into your shadow side and maybe integrating the two. But I mean, this tiger is wearing both colors proud. So, you know, loving both and integrating both of them. And then, of course, you have the phoenix. I mean, you have your root chakra, you have your sacral chakra, you have your solar plexus, and they're rising. I mean, you also have, it's rising from the darkness. So you might be having to face like some fears, some insecurities, sexual tendencies in a good or a bad way, whether you have negative thought patterns on it and you need to open those up and sexually express yourself more, or whether you're kind of depending a little bit too much on it and you need to realize why, almost to where it could be borderlining into something that's an imbalance or not good for you. Creativity, you know, where do you want to be more creative in your life? Within yourself, maybe even something for money, a financial venture. More self-esteem, determination, confidence, will. All right, we're gonna go back on to Aries. If I think of something else, I'll bring those up. But with Aries, it's like, there may be something that you don't know if you want. Like, you think you want it, you're conflicted about what you want. And apply any of these to how they relate in your life. I mean, if it's about a job, a creative venture, love, your kids, a friendship, someone who passed, however it applies, you know, because I'm mostly reading energies, especially, you know, right now. Well, I'm trying to do the best I can, but I feel like you're very conflicted about something that you want. It's like you really, really want it, but you feel like it's not good for you. And if you look at the Five of Wands, I mean, they're walking on some type of thing. There is an imprint of like a phoenix right here. I don't know if you can really see it. And then there's a part missing and it carries on right here and they're walking above it. But underneath it, there's like a river of, you know, water. And this person is trying to avoid emotions. But yet what you want is something, I mean, look at all the water in what you want. I mean, like huge waterfalls of emotion. So yeah, what you want is something emotional, but yet you're not wanting to deal with your emotions. Or either you're not wanting to or you're not coming at it in an emotional way. Or you can't because it's not healthy for you to. It's like almost like every time I bring my emotions to this situation, I get hurt. And it almost turns into, by you staying there, some type of self-sabotaging behavior in the end, because all you do is, you know, yeah, you could say the other person's hurting you, but at the end of the day, you're hurting yourself. I mean, so these are the cards you have describing it. You have the Seven of Swords. I mean, nobody is doing harm to this person except themselves. And it doesn't matter what somebody's doing to you in a relationship. Like, yes, they could be doing horrible things or they're not really on the same page. Whatever it is. But if you're still there and you're participating in it, at the end of the day, the only person doing it to you is you. Because you are the one in control of how you take care of yourself. Like, people are going to take care of themselves. Like, I know you could be with someone who loves you and they take care of you too. But here's the thing. If you're not taking care of yourself, why do you expect somebody else to? People treat you how you treat yourself. You teach and show people every day how to treat you. And you do that by showing how you treat yourself and what boundaries you put up and what you're willing to accept or not. And not being so, for lack of better words, desperate to have somebody there, or whatever whatever supply you're gaining from that person or situation, that you're not so desperate to keep it around that you will accept whatever. Almost like because I used to be in situations like that, almost like where you like, you know, you like withdrawal or something. It's almost like your drug. Reminds me of that song, like, I can't think of the words, but it's almost like, how can this be a tragedy if you're my remedy, or something like that. It's beautiful and romantic, but at the same time, it's horrible. But you're the only one hurting yourself. And you also have the Eight of Swords. You're all up in your head about it, and you're being almost controlled. Your emotions are controlling you and in your head to your demise. So it's no wonder that you're not wanting to come at the situation in an emotional standpoint. I mean, the devil. A lot of people got earth signs all wrapped up in these readings. So I don't know if they're, like I said, just money endeavors, creative endeavors, or if a lot of people are dealing with earth signs or earth energies. So you could be dealing with a Capricorn, or even a Virgo or a Taurus. And I don't just see this as the other person, though. I mean, it's like there is in order to be doing this, part of this has to also be inside you. And that's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just something that you need to look at. What's inside of you? Look at it and find out what it is. Use your intuition, meditate, whatever, and let it go. Transform it. Use your weaknesses, what's in the dark. Use them as your strength. So many people hide things away, including their emotions, and think like, oh, this is hurting me. Oh, I need to hide this away. It's not working. No. Like, most of the time, you find where people really just take off in life, in whatever way they do it, it's because they went in and found stuff, and they found a way to utilize it and to utilize that difference. They let go of the things that no longer served them and was hurting them, but they kept and embraced the other parts that had been hidden for so long and used that to rise up. So you really need to look at what part inside of you is having you do this to yourself or allow other people to put you in this situation, because there really is no one to blame but you. I mean, it's like, oh, he keeps cheating on me, he's horrible. Yeah, but you're there. What are you gaining from it? Why are you there? What patterns do you have? Is this a pattern? How are you cheating yourself? They're lying to me. How are you lying to yourself? They're sneaking around. What are you sneaking away from? It always mirrors us. And there's just really, it seems, some situation that it's like you're conflicted about and you really want, but you know, it's not good for you. And I'm not saying that situation may not even be good for you. Maybe there's a chance that once you see your side of it, because we each play a role. So maybe once you see your side of it and yours comes to light, if they're really meant to be there for you, with you in your life, in your path, in your journey, and you bring your stuff front and center, it will force them as a mirror to see theirs. And if they're that much of a person of integrity and they really love you and want to be there, and maybe they just didn't see it as well as you didn't. You know, both of you guys are just like, why is this like this? Why can't we just be? Why is this so hard? I'm not saying it's going to go that way, but your best chance of it going that way is to look within you. This is both of you. Like, don't ever say this is somebody else. And I get it. There are sometimes abusive situations and all that. And even those, the ones that are the most horrible, there is still something inside that person that attracted that person. There's still healing they're going to have to do that attracted as well. There's always patterns and backstories that lead to it. So maybe there's a chance after you see yourself and balance yourself out that acting as a mirror, it can happen for them too. But there absolutely is no chance of that situation not being like that if you don't. They might. Are you going to wait for them? Like, I wouldn't. Like, I would think I would put myself more important than that. Like, something needs to be cleared from your life. Like, the overall energies to all these. And if it's meant to be, it will come back. I mean, you can even be like, I need a minute to myself. Like, something's going on and I need to see what it is and see how do I feel? Because you're conflicted. How do I feel? What do I want? If you're around manipulation and you're around greed and ego and deceit and just mental traps and selfishness, it's really hard to see what you want. It's really hard to see what the truth is. And a cycle needs to be ended. You don't have the world card like the other two do, but trust me, your energy is there. Very much so. It's in all of these. So, and that again doesn't mean that the person needs to go. I'm not saying they need to say or go, or the situation needs to say or go. What that means is that cycle needs to end. You need to learn your lesson. You need to come back full circle. And when it comes back, you need to have learned your lesson and looked within. And if you really love that person or situation, the best chance they have is by you figuring it out and leading by example. So then maybe something will mirror in them. And if not, best wishes. There is no reason for you letting this sword go down your throat just for somebody else or something else. Your cards of advice are the Seven of Pentacles. So when I first got back, because, you know, the Seven of Pentacles can be waiting on, like, your seeds planted, waiting on something to come, being patient. Yes, you could still be patient. But I kind of got this feeling of, like, this person comparing. Like, here's this new thought or opportunity in front of me that could be good and tangible for me. And it doesn't have to be like a person or money or whatever. It could literally, in my opinion, just be something that you're weighing out your options. You're weighing out your thoughts. Like, I've built all this up. I've spent all these years, all this time. And then I've got this. To continue to let this grow. Or do I want to focus on letting this grow? And you might even be being guided during this process by your guides, somebody who's passed over, your higher self even, whatever. And when I got to clarify this about weighing out your options and what to do, because I heard, like, moving on, you got the Six of Swords. Moving on. Moving on to calmer waters. So you went from, you have the 6, 7, and 8 of Swords. So it's almost like this person is taking, they're only taking the thought, because swords are like thoughts, they could be communication too. So they're only taking the thoughts that serve them. And they're moving forward. This person not only is moving forward to reflect more, but they've done enough reflection to know that they have to move forward. But there's more to go. But they've done enough reflection to know I only kept 6 of the Swords. Because those other 2 swords, which I think somewhere else at the 10 might have came out too. Maybe it was in the bottom of the deck somewhere. But only 6 of those swords really served me. The other ones, they weren't good for me. They were negative. They were holding me down. So it's also realizing what's serving you and what's working for you and what thoughts of yours are self-sabotaging and hurting you, and letting the rest go and moving forward. And like I said, I mean, I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, you have to get, not one of those people, but you get what I'm saying? Like, oh, you have to let this go. You'll know what it is. And sometimes things do come back around. Maybe when the situation comes back around, you will have learned enough lessons, and hopefully they will have too, that you both can come on the same page. Or like I said, you can lead by example and then be like, wow, that's, wow, they've done a lot of work. Like, they almost look at you in a different way. And by you leading by example in a certain way, they have no choice but to see things that are mirrored to them through your actions. And then they have their own choice of, do I want to do this work because they're important enough to me? Or no, screw that. And then they go somewhere else, and then you know they weren't meant to be. Like, one thing I learned from my journey is that by not being who you are, by not being what's best for, or doing what's best for you, or keeping around what's best for you, or displaying everything of who you are and speaking and being your truth, all you're doing is making like the ones who are meant to be in your life, or delaying the ones who are supposed to be in there from happening. You're almost being just as much of a mask as the people around you, just to keep them there. Like, whose is worse? I mean, yes, sometimes there's hurt a little bit more, but aren't we all wearing masks at the end of the day when we keep ourselves in these situations? Because you so badly want it there and to stay. And God forbid you speak your truth or stand up for yourself, because it might not be. The best way to figure out who's supposed to be in your life is by setting up boundaries and sticking true to who you are and speaking your truth. Just remember that. Because it's the best way to make the people who are supposed to be there and be attracted to you, and the ones who aren't fall away. Let's pull your oracle card for Aries, Scorpio, New Moon 2017. Aries, Scorpio, New Moon 2017. It's time to be brave. You have. And look at her. That's so funny. So it's time, Fairy of the Highlands, it's time to be brave. And she's holding a sword. Like the sword of truth, the sword of communication. And she's scared. Look at her face. And she's holding it down. She's not holding it up like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's holding it down and she's scared. Be yourself. Speak your truth. Speak what you want. Bring the truth to light, because nobody else is going to. I mean, the situation isn't really in the end making you happy anyways. It might be instant gratification. But it seems, I feel like there's patterns and there's things to address, and there's subconscious and hidden things as to why this is staying in your life. Anything that makes you have to hide from your emotions or not want to deal with your emotions either isn't a good thing for you, or you need to take a break from it for a minute so you can go within and get yourself balanced. Because when you're balanced, even if something's good or not good for you, it's not going to make you run from your emotions. Because you're so balanced, you just come into it with that fierceness, that truth. Bring your truth, speak your truth, be your truth, find your truth. Go into your inner depths. Go inside. Use your intuition and rise up. Utilize what you find or release what you find. But don't be like this anymore. It's time to be brave. You're a fire sign. I mean, Aries, you know, they're usually not as afraid. Maybe of emotions, though. I mean, they're usually pretty fiery, but either way, either wrap up a situation or take a break from it while you go inside and do some work. Utilize the Scorpio energy. Okay? All right, now we're going to go on to Leo. Leo, you have a lot of cards. I'm going to try to go fast with this because I don't want to rip off Sagittarius at the same time, but okay. So I feel like this can go, I mean, obviously more than 2 ways, but definitely I'm getting more of a vibe of a creative venture, of something that you want to turn into like your either lifestyle or your work, like change your job into something you love. I will say this also could be a love interest or a relationship as well. So, you know, there is both, but I don't know why, but I'm more feeling kind of the creative side of wanting to really do something you love. So you have a lot of cards, like the ones that are like, you know, let me just restart. You have the heart chakra. It's something either balancing your heart chakra or something that you really love, or this will balance your heart chakra. And something that it could be ego, like you could be fighting your inner demon as well. You could be masking what's going on inside you, or you could just be looking for something you love and something that makes you feel good. Victory and success, 6 of Wands, feeling like triumphant, feeling good. It could be ego too. Maybe even partying a lot. But this almost has the full vibe to it too, like he's on a cliff. And he's like sounding his horn, like he's excited about what he's doing, or he's wanting to call in others to what he wants to do, he, she. But it's like you want to start something new and something that you really love. Something, I mean, come on now, it's Leos. Like they're all about the heart and the heart center. And I feel like maybe for a little while, I don't want to say you haven't been in your heart center, but not as strong as you want to be. Not something that really embraces you and makes you feel powerful in your heart center. So you have the 2 of Pentacles, movement, choices, and decisions. There's really something that's been weighing on your mind. You have the 7 of Swords, deception and envy. He's also wearing a mask. You also have the 9 of Swords, suffering and silence. You've really been keeping something inside of you, either portraying something different to the outside world, or just really, really not doing what you want to do or expressing what you want to do. I mean, not only does this show, you know, the Leo and the lion within the person, but I see also like a mask in this, you know, portraying as something else. And he looks so like fierce and focused, but not like happy and loving. So I don't know if you've been just not telling people what you've been thinking or wanting to do. I don't know if you've been deceiving yourself into wanting to do something else, but telling yourself you can't. For the cards under it, you have the Page of Cups. You have the World card. You have the Chariot. And you have the Page of Swords. I will get to these in a second. However, as a side note that also popped out, you have the 2 of Wands and you have the 4 of Wands. So when I look at it, it's like he's planting garlic bulbs. So I kind of got this thought of he's wanting to plant or utilize something he has. Use something he already has or knows to grow and be something else that can also become stable and balanced. Something he loves, maybe even grow into a union, or just at the very least become stable and balanced. So there's a path you're wanting to take, and something that you already know or you have, and you want to make it more than what it is. Something that will end up being stability and balanced for you. And just make it grow. So you have the Page of Cups. So this could either be, a Pisces or a water sign. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Maybe even something with a child. But I get more like a creative venture with it. Again, though, you have masks or almost like a false presentation. Like this person is also wearing, like, they've got a mask hat. They have almost like fin-like pantyhose on. They're like kind of, I don't know the word to use, but like, stroking under the fish's neck, like coercing the fish to give it either some truth or there's like this little ball of light or something that he's seeking from it. But I get almost this creative venture or person or situation that is emotional, and it could be an immature person, it could be something in the beginning stages, it could be a child. But I think it's a creative venture that you're wanting to bring you abundance. Fish also represent abundance. So you're wanting abundance to come from it. You're wanting it to grow and become something stable for you through abundance. I think you're wanting to use it to end a cycle. To end, whether it's, here's this and this that I really love to do. I'd really like to quit my job and do this instead because this is really what I love to do. Is there a way I can end that cycle and do this instead and get stability from it? Because in all the bottom of the decks, you just have, like, they're all about new passions, the Fool, like starting new, being in your head, sitting back and thinking, making a strong decision, walking away from something that doesn't work for you, and listening to your truth and doing what's right. But everybody's cards are all signifying new ideas, new passions, possibly new material things coming in that could show longevity, or they're in the beginning of the beginning phases of that, and there's endings being wrapped up by everybody has the World energy and the Fool in starting new. Making the decisions, making the right decisions that are best for you. Looking within, hearing the call of something, whether it's the right decision, what's best for you, what's inside you, what have you been wanting to do, and what you'll love in doing it and not being afraid. Moving forward in spite of conflict, being patient, planning stability. I think there's also things about resurgences of, your past or dealing with your past. Or thinking of people who have passed, or even children. But for the most part, I really get that many people are at the end of cycles and starting new. And it could be starting completely new and just letting something go. Or it could be the resurgence of something that had died or will die. And keep in mind too that, you know, because Scorpio energy is also about reviving things or letting it go, either way. So it might be gone completely and that's what's best for you, or it might go, like, you'll be like, oh well, that relationship is over, but almost like a tower thing where it had to be completely tore down in order to be renewed and start again on a stronger foundation. Don't expect either way, just go with the flow and let it unfold naturally. But just know that the energy can go either way. It will either just resurge something that you completely forgot about a long time ago. It will completely let something go that you're like, damn, you didn't expect that. Or it'll go, and then at some point it'll slowly start back up again, but in a stronger foundation. But you also have, you know, you have Leos, you have the Page of Cups. I think it's some creative. The World card, the end of a cycle, the Chariot. But the Chariot in this one is like, he's not going anywhere. He's completely guarded. There's something over his mouth. He's not speaking his truth. He's not moving forward because he doesn't know which way to go. He, she. You get what I'm saying? Apply it as needed and whatever gender you want it to. It could be about a Cancer. But I think you're just not moving, like you're stuck. Like you don't know which way to go. And you're just all in your head about it. But you need to just speak your truth. You need to shed light on your truth. Like, I mean, look at him. He's got the thing coming from his eye and it's shedding light on the sword. You need to like shed light. You need to shed light on whatever it is that you're thinking. I think there's something that you're passionate about, something new you're wanting to start, and you're wanting to make money with it. Either you want to or you are. Or maybe you haven't been telling people, and I think you're worried about it because you probably have a family that you have to take care of. Maybe you're the only one who makes the money, brings in the money. And, you know, you're like, how am I going to support my family? Can I do this? And there is always ways to do it. You know, there's so many options. You just have to look into it and not be afraid of it and research it. Even if you have to do something like drive an Uber for a little while that gets going, or doing something on YouTube or whatever, where there's a will, there's a way. You just have to break out of that brainwash thing of you have to work a 9-to-5 job to make something happen. And if you want to, you do research and you figure it out. But I think there's something that you really love to do, and you know, you're collaborating with people who are like you, and they're like-minded people, and you really enjoy it. It's a happy time for you. It's happy, but it's also something that can bring you money and make it to where you can also give back and help other people in whatever way, whether it's a cop, a nurse, YouTube channel, donations, whatever. I mean, it's endless, the opportunity, or the, you know, the possibilities. But and it'll bring you stability, and you want it to bring you stability. I mean, these are your advice cards. Like, do what you love and what makes you happy, what makes you joyous inside, what makes your heart chakra just burst open, and what makes you happy and want to rejoice to the world. Do that. Focus on finding a way to give back while doing it, and how to help other people. Because if you do that, the abundance always comes. You could focus on helping people. You can also see on what I love. How can I make that? How is that valuable to people? How will that value be brought to people? But for the most part, if you focus on what you love and you do that, abundance comes anyways. It will bring stability. And it will be the start of a new venture with like-minded people. don't be scared of what you want to do. Yes, it could be, I mean, I seriously doubt this is like, go have a third party situation. So I can't imagine that would be your advice column. Or it could be stop. I mean, if maybe you're doing something that you're putting on a face about and you're having unhealthy passions, or I don't even want to say unhealthy, just maybe something that you're having a hard time letting go of another phase and going into another, and because of that there's some bad qualities intertwined, then it's maybe, you know, watch out for this, don't have this energy, you know, worry about like the give and take of it. It's not fair. Be fair about it, be stable. I mean, there's a lot of threes for third party, but nothing else around it really goes to third party. Maybe you're partying a lot and there's third party situations, and there's kind of new offers of love coming to you, or immature love. But I kind of more get this as you either are in some other situation romantically and you're needing to get out of another situation, and you want to take the new one and have that grow to be something stable and something that you love and that's going to be good for you, but you're having a hard time transitioning over and you haven't really spoken your truth about that yet. You're having a hard time also fighting kind of your instincts, or your, I don't want to say inner demon, but you know, your lustful side, or just your other side. Maybe you're even split, like, you know, this person matches this side of you and this person matches this one, but you need to be fair about this. And you need to be careful because it could also come to you in a negative way. But I mostly get from this is a creative venture and something that you're wanting to turn it into something that you can like help other people, but also, you know, it can become financially abundant for you as well. Emotionally abundant, mentally abundant, financially abundant, spiritually abundant. And I think you're just lying to yourself, deceiving yourself in the process. I think you're kind of scaring yourself. You're not really saying what you want to do. You're holding back. And it's kind of your own fear thoughts. Like, again, just like the other ones, you need to go inside. You need to look in there and use your intuition, embrace that darkness, rise up. Utilize what you have and let go of what doesn't work for you. Because it's the only way you're really going to be happy about it. I mean, your advice literally is do what you love. Focus on giving back and seeing how you can help others, and the abundance and the stability will come. You will be taken care of. It will be turned into a work venture for you. And you will be surrounded by working with like-minded people, and all of you will love it. Let me pull an oracle card for you guys. Give me a card for Leos, for Scorpio, New Moon 2017. Scorpio, New Moon 2017 for Leos. Scorpio, New Moon. You have your sensuality is beautiful. I think you have something that, like, if you look, she's in the sewer mermaid, your sensuality is beautiful. She's under the sewer, she's underneath, she has all these emotions and something she's very emotional about. And it's all kept under where people can see, like nobody can see it. I don't know, you might even be getting like angry or just not happy. Be very having ego problems because you're not unhappy, or just grumpy, like really grumpy because you're just not happy about things, and you really just need to let all these ideas and let them out. I mean, there's so much you're keeping under the surface and you're wearing a mask about, like all this is under the surface. Let me see something.
Okay. I'm going to read this to you just because it, for the most part, implies part of you that is natural and beautiful. Most likely your body and appearance has been influenced by thoughts and ideas about it being unworthy, unhealthy, and perhaps even dirty. Like maybe you're not good enough to do what this is that you're wanting to do. And you're becoming grumpy and just, it's taken a toll on you. A part of you has had to evolve and exist in less than a healthy way. It is time to clean up your act, not of your natural looks, but of the way you have thought about yourself. Something beautiful has been treated badly. It is now up to you to begin to reframe your ideas and thoughts, and therefore your experiences of yourself, your body, your worth, your ability to attract others, and to see yourself as worthy of love, respect, and consideration. Let the strong survivor mermaid show you how to love yourself and your appearance again and rise above the rubbish and stink of negative conditioning regarding your beautiful body and unique self. You are beautiful and very worth loving. This is the only truth that must be told at this time. I just think it's really taken a toll on your mental health and what you think of yourself and your happiness. Let this out. Go in, do what you need to do, take a chance, do it. Do research to figure out how to do it, and go in and look inside at your negative thoughts and patterns that are holding you back. How have you been conditioned to think that you can't do these things you're wanting to do? That you're not good enough or strong enough or confident enough to do it, or just that you can't, because you can. Like, there's a lot of things that you're emotional about. Whatever your truth is, whatever this is, how it applies to you, let it out, look within and transform it and utilize it. Because whatever is holding you back from doing this, not only is it having a negative effect on your body and your mind from you holding all this in and holding a face on top of all that anger and disgust. Maybe even your ego is becoming inflated because you're so not happy and you're trying to overcompensate. She's green too, so it's like the heart chakra. Let it out. Do what you want to do. This is the time to do it. It's a transformative energy. Let the old cycle go and bring in the new. Because I just, like, even this strength card, I mean, he looks angry. Stop wearing the mask. Be that happy, prideful, loving lion and Leo that you are. Bring that fire. Okay. So we're going to move on to Sagittarius before I run out of time. Yours is a little bit shorter, but like your cards are a little more direct. You have the Three of Pentacles, recognition and reward. The ones describing that, you have the Moon and you have the Queen of Swords reversed. I get that you're really going through a lot. Like, I think you are kind of in a situation or possibly even a relationship, maybe even a job, any type of situation or relationship that it's weighing on you. It's taken away from your confidence. It's making you feel bad. Maybe taken away from your worth, or you know you're worth more than it. There's manipulation going on. Deceitfulness. There are things coming to light, including the manipulation. If you look, you could see how the Moon is manipulating these people. But there are things coming to light. There might be emotional manipulation, lies. Somebody who lies. It's manipulative, hurtful. Like there's blood on her swords. Maybe not cutting away something that you need to cut away in your life. You also have as your advice the World card. It's time to wrap up a cycle. You have the Ten of Pentacles in your advice. Wrapping up the cycle with something having to do with family. The Sun card. And you have the Emperor. And if I hold them up, like here's the World card. I feel like you need to wrap up a cycle. Something with family that brought you abundance at one time, brought you happiness at one time. But if you look in this Emperor card particularly, there's another side of him on the other side. Like, see how this is a stone? He's sitting on the other side. You could see his hand, and he's focusing on all these females. Like, yeah, that's right. Look at me. like a pimp. But here's the stone side. You're getting the stone side. You're getting a stone. And then you're getting this turtle, tortoise, I don't know what it is. So it's like something that brought you abundance, like family and abundance and happiness at one time. But it ended up turning out to be something you didn't think it was. And where he is really focusing their efforts is on other people right now and not you. All you're getting is a stone. And somebody who at any type of something they don't like or that scares them or conflict or anything they don't like, they go in their shell. They are a stone and they go in their shell. They are removed and distant from you, and the only interaction or most of the interaction you get from them is manipulation and lies. And they're distant. And I think you need to cut them out. This whole reading is just everything is flying all over the place. The camera keeps falling down. Like, what is the deal? Queen of Swords. End the cycle. Cut them out. When I look under the deck, the one that really pertained to you, I believe it was this one. I mean, you've got like, there's this sexual in and out, fiery energy. It really traps you in your mind. There's something coming down from it. It's being tore down. It's the end of a cycle. It may be rebuilt. I don't know. But it was something that brought you emotional fulfillment at one time. And now you're just remorseful. You're regretful. You're sad. It's toxic. And I think you need to stop the toxicity. See, she's stepping on the snake. And really utilize your inner strength. Like the Leo. Maybe either this person is, not really working on their inner demons, or you're really having to have strength about the toxic situation. And it's really a burden. There's so much conflict. There's so much fighting. Look at it. The house is burnt down. It's coming down. You're burning. If you're not, you need to. It's being burnt out. It's being ended. The cycle needs to end. You're coming into your power. You could be a single mom or a single dad needing to take care of your kids and maybe getting them out of a situation. Carrying the call, the judgment. Knowing that something needs to end. It could be a renewal. I don't get that. I get it's you hearing the call of this needs to end. I mean, if you look at you have the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups in between the Ace of Cups. But when you look in between them, the King of Cups, again, he has his back to you. She has their back to you. And you get the stone face, the stone heart. And they're looking away from you, waiting on their ships to come in. Waiting on something else to come in. Almost like I get the feeling like either they're waiting to build anew, or they're like, you're getting the stone part and they're like, yeah, I'm going to build anew with you. We're working on this. We're going to work on this. We're going to do this. Here's all the tools to help us build anew. But, you deal with my stone side, because who I am behind all this stuff, I'm going to look over here and be somewhere else. I'm going to block all my emotions off from you. I'm going to block all my thoughts off from you. I'm going to block any care that I really have. Like, I'm not really here. You might as well be alone. And this might have been something, from the past, from a long time ago. Or what's going on here is just you finding your value and your love for yourself and your kids. Or just yourself. And you've been praying about it to get better. I have these blotches that got on my card, but I kept it because it looks like praying hands. I don't know if you can really see it through the camera, but I think you've been praying on this situation to get better for you and your family and your kids. And I don't think it is, because when you look, and if you look at it like this, here's the King of Cups. Look at him, the stone. Here's in between you, your love. And here's you. I mean, you could see you. You're focused on it. You're focused on the love. But it looks like it's just you now, and your wisdom, and you and your kids. And I think you're coming to your power. Like, here's the Queen of Wands, and you're becoming nurturing. And the situation's just, you're just over it. Just completely over it. And you're ready to manifest something new. And because of that, fate and luck is turning in your favor. I think this might have also been a karmic situation, so that karma is over. It could have been with a Scorpio. But it could be a Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, or Taurus. Anybody. But fate is turning in your favor. It's turning somewhere. Things are in the air. But I think they're turning in your favor because you've realized things now. And I think that karma is kind of done. It's already dealt itself. And you're looking anew. I mean, you could see him. He's starting anew. He's got the world in his hands. He's starting a new path. And this Joker in the background, they've got their back to them. And I think this is you. Like, you're done with it. You're done fighting. Like the Nine of Wands, and he's waiting on that battle with the bear. Like, you're like, no, I don't want to. I'm done. I'm moving forward with something that's going to make me feel better. The Six of Wands. So, you really have a cycle to be wrapped up. And I'm sorry. And I don't, if this is you, stop or find out why you are, work on those patterns and look within to see what's going on. If it's them, again, go inside, look at those patterns. I mean, go back and look at what I said to Aries. There's two parts, two roles to the party. So, what part did you play? What did you allow? What signs did you ignore? Why did you keep it there? And I get it. If you have kids, be like, oh, for my kids. But there's more than that. Like, again, like all of them, go within, use your intuition, listen to why, integrate your light and your dark, utilize your weaknesses as strengths, let go of the ones that aren't and that don't serve you, and rise. Rise from the ashes. Release the things that don't work. But everybody, all three of you guys, all have the endings to cycles and the beginning of starting something new. And it could be new as in something was kind of revamped or brought back to life, or just completely ended, or it could be ended now and come back later. But or just the cycle itself, even if the person or the situation is still there, the cycle and the patterns themselves have to change. Leo could also be a person to, they might be gone already by now, but I don't know. I think theirs is more creative. Yours could be creative too, but I really get relationship a lot, Sagittarius, with yours. I think you're coming into some really great stuff, and I think your readings are going to start looking like really good. But I think you're figuring it out. And unfortunately, I think you've been through some rough times, and it's coming to an end. Let's see what oracle card we pull for Sagittarius for the Scorpio New Moon 2017. Sagittarius, did I say Scorpio? I don't know. Sagittarius, Scorpio New Moon 2017. What do we have for Sagittarius, Scorpio New Moon 2017? Sagittarius, Scorpio New Moon 2017. Come on. So you have healing from heartache. Mend a broken heart, fairy. Yeah, you got a lot of heart. Let me see what yours says. I don't know why I've been being really drawn to the book. You got some stuff to mend. When you have heartache, it is important to treat yourself well. Take time away from the flurry of shoulds you are so often confronted with. Why not take some time to snuggle on the couch with a favorite old movie and have a sniffle? Have a long, comforting bath, and be sure to make a promise to yourself to let close people who are worthy of your love. It is not about being bitter or guarded, but you are a sensitive and tender, sweet being, and some people are just not. So now is not the time for harshness. Soft blankets, sweet dreams, long baths, and a reduction of the harsh energy around you are best. Then the Mend a Broken Heart fairy can fly in to soothe you. You will feel her presence, and she will lift the pain until all that is left is sweet, gentle wisdom. So give your time, be gentle to yourself, and give yourself time to heal. And after you've given yourself that and you've fixed and rectified the situation, don't stay on it too long or let it get the best of you. Take the lessons and let the rest go. But I feel like it's really been weighing you down, and it's been really hard on you. And just do what makes you feel good. You might have already been doing that or started doing that and taking better care of yourself and being like, screw this, I'm over all this, and you started revamping yourself. But if you haven't, do it. My recommendation is, though, if you have found yourself in any patterns, if this is a pattern, if this was a very toxic relationship, which it seems like it has, before you go and put yourself back out there, please go and do the work. Find out what it is that attracted you to all this, what attracted you to them, what allowed you to stay so long, what did you get out of it, what was your part? Because we all have parts. I don't care how bad somebody was to you. We all have parts in how we played in it. So please go and do the internal work. This is all about what Scorpio new moon is right now, is truths coming out and going into the darkness that most people are scared of. Go in and do that work and fly high. Your season is coming up next, so the light is really going to be shined on you. Shown? I don't know. But do it now so that when that happens, you're already like one step ahead and you've already got your lessons and you're already moving forward, Sagittarius. Bring your fire. Use your fire to burn into new. But I'm sorry if, you're kind of on the, either way, whoever is doing what, everybody's going to be hurt. Even somebody who's doing the hurting, or they're the manipulator or whatever. We're all manipulators. If you've been staying there, if you've been there for 10 years, you're a manipulator too. In the sense of you're not being true to yourself, your boundaries, or any of that. You've been kind of bringing forth what you had to in order to keep the situation there. There's no way you could be in a situation like that for that long and have been fully living in your truth. And that's okay. I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. It is what it is. But now is the time to go in and see that and realize that. And especially if you take the advice and you're ending the cycle, this is something really to realize and go within and do, because you don't want to walk into another situation with the same patterns, or even some of them, especially if you have kids, because it's all about leading by example, but especially for yourself. And maybe there is a way to save it by you leading by example and doing the work on yourself, but I wouldn't even focus on that right now. Just focus on yourself and being kind to yourself. But for the love of God, don't put yourself back on the market without looking into things first. And if this is a job situation or a creative venture, or a job is like horrible, or your bosses or whatever, same thing applies. All of it applies. So anyways, thank you very much. I hope I did okay in getting the messages out the best I could. I mean, I'm a little bit under the weather right now, but I really wanted to get this out. Comment below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I really hope this helps. I'm still in the middle of transforming and going through my spiritual awakening, and this has really helped me. So I'm kind of taking a chance and doing this as my living, and I've quit my job to do this to help other people and hope that I can give back, because it's helped me a lot and it's still helping me now. Any information about readings and prices and donation information, anything like that, the about me, everything will be there. If there's anything else you need, comment to me. I'll put everything together. It's a little bit of a work in progress right now, but I'm usually pretty fast about fixing things. So just let me know your thoughts, comments. I thank you so much. I hope even a little bit of what I said has helped, if not all of it. This isn't going to resonate with everybody. If it's applies, but not in the way I said, apply it to how it fits to you. But I really, really hope this helped. And I really love you guys. I hope you guys have a good November and a good new moon and full moon.